Speaking of talking to the wind, my fan just completely died. It's a little less air. I got my small fan over here, but my big fan is kind of dead. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Justin, and today we're listening to I Talk to the Wind by King Crimson off of their album In the Court of the Crimson King, released in 1969. I only know because I just saw it a second ago. I wasn't initially going to do the whole album since I've already heard it, but, let me just re-listen to it, especially here on camera, kind of talk my way through it, and kind of go through the natural process and progress of the band as I follow them further. I hope that you guys are having a fantastic and wonderful day. You can join me on Twitter. You can join me in the comments down below. You already know that this reaction to the song is going to be cut out of this one. Sorry about that. There's nothing I can do. Let's do it. This is I Talk to the Wind by King Crimson. Come on. It's a great song, okay? The album has perfect flow. And there's one specific reason, there's a lot of reasons, but there's one specific reason that I really like this being the second track on the album, right? Imagine this is 1969, and you see this album cover, it definitely grabs your attention. You're like, okay, that's kind of interesting. Let's pick up this and, let's head this back home. You get home, you take off your coats, and you've prepared your afternoon, your morning, your night, whichever time it is, and you put this vinyl on the record player. First song blows you away, right? It literally just bowls you over. It is just crazy. It is powerful. It is complex, and you did not know what you were hearing. Okay? Then this track comes on. Then I Talk to the Wind comes on, and it is just so different from what you just heard. In these two tracks of the album, they tell you that they can do everything. If they want to give you heavy, complex, and powerful, they're going to give it to you. If they want to give you peace and serenity and quiet introspection that may be quieter and calmer but is still just as captivating, they're going to give it to you. They give you just so much of their potential and their capabilities in just the first two tracks of this album. And that is one thing that ever since I did first listen to this album, that did captivate me and gripped me right away. Just how varied their sound can be, and even though I don't know where their albums are and where they led in the future, it definitely whets my appetite as to what I can expect, because I know what they're capable of. I love in this song how Ian McDonald trades in his saxophone for the flutes, clarinet, and it brings this whimsical classical tone to the song. It reminds me, I was trying to think of The Painting, but I know everyone gets different mental images when they listen to certain songs, but when I was listening to this song, I'm thinking of La Primavera, right? Famous painting. It's this beautiful painting and representation of spring and spring arriving into the world. And that's kind of the feeling that I get. It's classical, it's whimsical, it has this very light atmosphere about it. The song is fantastic. Obviously, the flute playing from Ian McDonald is probably the standout that I'm sure most people would say, and I would agree with. But I also, listen, I love Lake's vocals, okay? The way that Greg sings is just so soothing to me. If he's going to go off, like he did in 21st Century, he gets it. But when he's singing soft like this, it is just as gripping. He just kind of drifts and washes back and forth with the melodies of the song. It's so easygoing and it's so relaxing. This song especially is just so relaxing. There's not a lot of rises and falls in his voice in this song. But one, song doesn't call for it. Two, it's just the atmospherics, if that's even a word, in his voice and how it matches with the music itself. And that is just, as I always say, it's another layer of just power and energy within the song itself. Drumming, Michael Giles on the drums. This is a soft song, so it doesn't call for a lot. Michael's not one to sit back. He said, no, I'm going to have my piece as well. You guys are having a great time out there. I want to jump in. And he could have played this song so simple, so straightforward, so streamlined and expected. But once again, especially if it is your first listen, to me he plays very unexpected. He plays Still complex, not so much to throw it off, not so much to throw the groove off and the actual feeling of the song off, but still just enough to give it its moments, give it its atmospheres, and give it its space, but inserting a certain rhythmic energy, kind of like a heartbeat, into the song, not only through the standard drumming throughout, but especially throughout the fills that he's doing. Okay, and I think that's Fripp doing that on the guitar. I love that, okay? It is such a small returning melody that they use throughout the song. And there's a lot of returning melodies that they use throughout the song. But that little bit by Fripp on the guitar, bum, 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 it is just so peaceful. It's relaxing. It's like falling asleep and then like being entered into a dream. All the space that's left, I love the harmonies, vocal-wise. I love that space that empties out. And it's just so empty and peaceful. And then slowly we fill it back up again. And it's this nice back and forth between that I think makes this song, which could come across as, doesn't really change much. It doesn't really do much. But on the other hand, I feel like it kind of does a lot. Listen to that drumming. Come on. But he always plays it so soft-handed. He's not like banging on it because, it doesn't need to. That would change the whole tone of the song, and that probably wouldn't be the best decision. But he still plays it with such power and such grace that it beautifully matches the song, but also empowers the song, making it sound even more full, bringing it to life. Yeah. And Ian is just playing so mystical with the flute and everything, and like I said, he brings a nice classical kind of tone. This song actually kind of reminds me of a little bit of like ELP, but maybe that's just because of Greg. Ian, he carries you. He sets you on a cloud, magic carpet ride, and he just sets you sailing. And once again, talking about album flow really quick, right? How chaotic 21st Century ends. It ends, and then you're greeted with this, like how it moves from the last song into this one. Such a big contrast, but so fitting. The lyrics. Said the straight man to the late man, where have you been? I've been here, and I've been there, and I've been in between. I talk to the wind, my words are carried away. I talk to the wind does not hear, the wind cannot hear. I'm on the outside looking inside, what do I see? Much confusion, disillusion all around me. Even though I've heard these songs before, I've never really looked into the lyrics that much. But initially looking at it, talking to the wind, I think of trying to talk to God, prayer, trying to have some sort of conversation with a higher power, if you will. Said the straight man to the late man, where have you been? Well, first is who's who. I talk to the wind, my words are all carried away. I talk to the wind does not hear, the wind cannot hear. So you're talking, you're putting your words out there, you're putting your energy, your prayer out there, and it's being carried away. You don't know where it's going, but you're wondering, are they heard? Is anyone on the other side, or is this just wind? You don't possess me, don't impress me, just upset my mind. Can't instruct me or conduct me, just use up my time. So he feels like he's kind of wasting time. Like, he's saying, you're not doing anything for me, you're not inspiring me, you're not impressing me. I don't see anything happening. You're just kind of upsetting me a little bit. He says, just upset my mind. He says, can't instruct or conduct me, just use up my time. So he's not getting any sort of response back. And he feels like it's kind of just a waste of time. So perhaps like the wind being the late man, or possibly representative of God, I would assume. He's asking, where have you been? And he says, well, I've been here, I've been there. Kind of moving about like the wind, Just like talking to the wind, Ian McDonald, on the wind, with the flutes, really blew his heart out on this one. And this song is just like that peaceful, relaxing come down. Very good vibes the whole way through on it. It's a piece of art. You guys already know. Of course, you're more than welcome to join me on Twitter. You can join me in the comments down below. I hope that you're having a fantastic day, guys. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.